Twins avoid the 3-game sweep versus Toronto today, 6-3. That's your final. Thanks to Joe Ryan and company. Full deep dive coming up next on the Minnesota Twins Postcast.
This is the Twins Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins Postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network, your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Main man CJ Baumgartner, he's on X. Give him a follow at BombCJ30. Twins expert over at Zone Coverage. MN. I know we're getting into the pitching stuff. Zebby Matthews on the IL now. Get your take on Pablo. But just nice to get a dub and avoid that 3-game sweep today at home, was it not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just after the way that the games had gone on Friday and Saturday, just not going your way, it was really important just to get out of this series with a win. And when you do that, you clinch a winning week, obviously winning 3 out of 4 in I was about to say Oakland, but winning 3 out of 4 out there in California, and then winning 1 out of 3 here this week. Even though it kind of felt a little wonky, you still end the week on, putting all the wins together, 4-3 or whatever it is. So you still got a winning week, and overall just able to salvage that out of the series is definitely a good thing to take into next week.
I think I called them Oakland at least. I mean, over under is at 5.5.
I mean, they're basically at least Oakland, right?
Yeah. Still doesn't fit. Sacramento doesn't feel right. Lots to get into. Joe Ryan back on the mound. Let you know how he did today, plus a preview of the Rangers series that starts on Tuesday night. But first, quick reminder. Today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time. Download that Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Quick little recap from today. Again, Twins trying to avoid that 3-game sweep. You had Joe Ryan on the mound. Solid, right? Not the normal elite Joe Ryan we usually get. A couple quick runs given up. Then he kind of settled down. 6 Ks, 3 walks, 2 earned runs. Got through 5 innings. Twins down 3-2. Brooks Lee and Christian Vasquez, back-to-back jacks. That made it 4-3, and they never looked back from that point on. A couple insurance runs later made it 6-3. A bullpen continues to dominate. Clearly their biggest strength right now on this roster. 35-30 now. That's the record on the year. 5 games above 500. Just start with your biggest takeaways from today. Kind of your 8 topics. What stuck out the most?
Yeah, I think it was just important to have the bats get going and kind of pick up the bullpen, and the pitching staff obviously hadn't had the best weekend, especially when you look at the bullpen in the high leverage situations. Again, the pitchers have to execute in that situation, obviously, not taking anything away from them on the weekend. But also, again, you want your hitters to be able to score a lot of runs to give them some run support. And that's just something that Twins relievers, they've always came into these really high leverage situations. So for the Twins to be able to stack runs on top of each other today, it's not like they had a 12-run outburst, but just to get 6. If you score 6 runs a game, you're one of the best teams in baseball. But just to have a day like this where they come out, they get the bats going. Joe Ryan gives up some runs early, but the Twins match it early, and they were able to take the lead and just kind of run away and hide with it. So it was just important for the bats to be able to get going today.
Yeah, good segue here to the biggest turning point from today.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
You mentioned the Twins jump right back after Joe Ryan gave up 2 early ones, and then they're down 1, had back-to-back jacks at the bottom of the order. Your 8 and 9 hitter, love to see that. But when was the biggest turning point from your lens today? When was it and why?
Yeah, I think it was early in the game when you saw Joe Ryan leave the game, gave up the lead in that inning. I believe it was the second. And then the Twins or the third, either way. Twins turn right back around. And not only do they tie the game, but give him the lead. And then Joe Ryan, this is where the turning point is, coming after that inning, just a quick, no-nonsense inning, lets his team go back and hit. And then they give him some insurance runs, and then it's end up being 6-3, and the Twins kind of run away with it. So the Twins gave their pitcher the lead back, and then the pitcher kind of returning with Ryan and just kind of coming back, putting him down, and bringing the bats back up right away again is just really, really important. It's something that good teams at any level of baseball do really well. When your lineup gets you the lead back as a pitcher, you just have a clean next half inning and allow your bats to go back and hit. And that's exactly what the Twins did.
Yeah. To your point here too, you'd always love your starting pitcher just to go, 8 scoreless innings. Doesn't work that way. You love to see the team balance, the give and take a little bit, right? Like, hey, we'll pick you up, you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing, to see that total team balance once in a while. Something, as you pointed out, the Twins just really haven't had a ton of this year. And you could even say dating back to last year as well. We got to talk about this rotation here, because it feels like, in the last 72 hours plus, Pablo out 2 to 3 months. We found that out a couple days ago. Festa hasn't looked great. Zebby Matthews now, that's the big A topic. He's on the IL as well. Simeon Woods-Richardson already demoted. Obviously still got Joe Ryan, right? He's your new number one stud. Chris Paddock looking terrific lately as well. That helps a lot. But panic meter, like 1 to 10, I guess. Where's your panic meter right now with this new starting five? And who is the starting five, I guess?
Well, right now, obviously, you have kind of your starting five rotating with Ryan, with Ober, Paddock, and then you have David Festa, who's coming back up. And then also with the injury to Zebby Matthews and the shoulder injury, that means that Simeon Woods-Richardson likely, I don't think it's been officially announced, but I mean, Simeon Woods-Richardson is probably going to get another opportunity here with the Twins. And that's kind of what this rotation's looking like. And if you basically, it's really funny, because in a lot of ways, this season in 2025 has been a lot of what 2024 was. The weird start, 13-game winning streak in the middle of the year, pitching kind of getting some injuries throughout the middle of the season. And basically, Pablo Lopez had the exact same shoulder injury that Joe Ryan had last year. And if you swap out Ryan for Lopez, this is basically the same rotation, where the Twins are going to have to rely on Simeon Woods-Richardson, Zebby Matthews, and David Festa for a 2 to 3 month stretch here. And you're going to need, you're going to get consistency with Ryan. You're going to get consistency with Ober. Paddock has been good over the last couple months. He's been kind of the key piece of being important, and you need some of those other guys to be able to chip in. So Simeon Woods-Richardson and David Festa are going to really have to. They don't need to be perfect, but they just can't have any blow up starts. The other three guys are going to give you a good outing, and as long as you can keep those guys from blowing up and salvaging your bullpen throughout the rest of the turn through the rotation, that's really what's going to be key. But again, the Twins you talk about starting rotation depth, and the Twins are lucky that they have this, but again, you don't really want to be relying on it in early June. You're hoping maybe August.
Yeah, and at this point, being early June, such a long season left, really can't push any more buttons at this point, right? Like kind of pushing your luck with that depth as it is right now. Can't afford any more injuries. That's how it feels anyways. And again, to your point, only June 8th right now. Plenty more deep dive. I want to ask you who the game MVP was today in this Game 3. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Why I love FanDuel, when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Again, some MLB future action while you're there. Twins to win the AL Central, plus 500 right now. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Does that seem crazy? Plus 500? I mean, they're only, 6-7 games back?
It feels crazy, but with the fact of the Tigers just being so good, I think it's kind of like...
Yeah, I guess. All right, fair enough. Let's get into our game MVP.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, your MVP, 6-3 victory, Game 3. Who is it and why?
There's a couple different routes you could go here, obviously, kind of all the different ways that the Twins chipped in here. But I think overall, if you go, I'm just going to give it to Brooks Lee. I thought he had a really nice game today. That home run that he had, really muscling an inside pitch, being able to turn on it really quickly, just getting it into the flower boxes in right field along the pole. And it really, again, it tied the game back at 2, kind of even the levies. And then he also had a couple extra hits throughout the game as well. So I'm going to go Brooks Lee, player of the game today, mainly just because that home run really kind of after the runs Ryan gave when like, okay, we're back here. We're back.
Yeah, it's the spark they needed at that juncture in the game, no doubt about it. Nerdy stat of the day, you got any crazy stat, fun analytic, I guess, Twins related?
Not too kind of nerdy, but Byron Buxton, 3 walks in today's game. The first time ever Byron Buxton has had 3 walks in a game in his entire career. And overall for Buxton, just a really nice game for him because he came up with the bases loaded, had a bases loaded walk for an RBI, and just a couple other times in big spots. Pitchers will pitch around Buxton and hope that he's over aggressive and he'll swing at balls and he'll get himself out trying to do too much. And it was just a good job for him being really disciplined and patient and not trying to do too much.
Yeah, well said there. Back to the pitchers, right? Zebby on the IL, shoulder strain, Pablo out 2 to 3 months. We've been talking Twins prospects the past couple shows. I just can't help but wonder how much maybe some of the conversation has changed just given some of these injuries they've sustained the past, 72 hours or so. Does a guy like Connor Prelip catapult up faster than originally anticipated now? Just knowing what you know about the GM, the front office running the show, or do you think they'd rather try to trade for a veteran closer to the deadline instead?
Well, and that's the key part too, because it's all when you talk about trading at the deadline, it's going to come down to ownership and the ownership stuff. And I know that there's been updates here and there, but nothing feels imminent. And even if there was, is there going to be or the checkbook's going to open up at the trade deadline? And right now, if it's kind of like the last couple of years, it really hasn't happened. So this team is going to have to rely on from within. And Connor Prelip is a guy who's had a lot of great stuff. He's been really highly anticipated. He's had the injury concerns, like a lot of pitching prospects too. Going through the minor league system, and it kind of becomes the battle if you're the Twins. He hasn't really, done a ton, in terms of just lighting up the minors because he's been injured, but he's got really electrifying stuff. So do you just take a chance, or do you say we still got to see more time from him, or waste kind of the bullets in AAA? There's a lot of things that you have to consider. There's also Corey Lewis. There's a few other guys in the Twins kind of pitching pipeline is the buzzword, but the Twins feel like they have some depth at AAA, but again, you just don't want to necessarily having to feel like you got to tap into the bottom of your depth before you hit the All-Star break.
Yeah, well said there. Good breakdown. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but next time I got you on the postcast, I'm going to ask for one possible trade scenario. So just keep that in the back of your mind. One possible trade scenario just to have a little fun with. Don't go anywhere. Preview the Rangers series on deck. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members to date. And for me, my money, just by far the easiest, most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. It's so simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats. You watch the winnings roll in, strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, new 3-game series. That starts Tuesday night. Nice little day off here tomorrow. Rangers coming into town, trying to build a little momentum here off this Game 3 win. Zebby was scheduled, I believe, to be the guy in Game 1, but he's out. So who's on the mound, do you think? And I guess what's the quick kind of scouting report on the Rangers as far as, how the Twins match up with them lineup to lineup?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And I haven't quite looked at how things match up for sure. I wonder if it will be Simeon Woods Richardson coming in place of that, or if you kind of bump everybody down the line. There hasn't been an off day, so you'd kind of push somebody up if that's the case. So it would make me think that you would have Simeon Woods Richardson come in that spot, but they haven't officially announced anything, and they probably won't until kind of the last possible moment with the gamesmanship and all that kind of stuff. But, a big series coming up with the Rangers, obviously, and with Texas, they're a team that's 5 games below 500, and their road record 10-22. So a team that does not play well outside of Arlington, and a good chance for the Twins, despite kind of the series loss against the Blue Jays, despite the pitching woes, still have an opportunity to get a series win and kind of keep some positive momentum going here into this week.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, let's end on this. What we'll be talking about, what's the water cooler talk or the Twins group chats messages, right now? Like, what is the vibe, I guess? What's the vibe right now between, we had the winning streak a few weeks back, crawled back out of that hole. Right now, you're in the kind of the thick of it, second place right now in the AL Central. Then you got the Pablo news, though, Zebby Matthews as well. What's their stock right now, and in which way is it pointing, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, since that 13-game winning streak, I think they've had about a 500 record, maybe a game or two below since that point. And again, it's exactly what they did a season ago. This feels like we're just kind of in a Groundhog Day situation from 2024. It's insane. But overall, I think what people are kind of talking about, at least I'll kind of maybe personalize it to myself, what me and a few coworkers, big Twins fans, we all kind of have a group text going together. It's been the amount of games that Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, and Royce Lewis are all playing together. Now, Lewis came into the game, I believe, for Clemens later on. So he ended up coming into the game and getting a couple hits, by the way. And Correa got a couple hits today. Buxton obviously had 3 walks, including an RBI. The more those 3 guys are in the lineup together, just the better this fan base is likely going to be feeling. And it's got off to a bad start this year. And then by the time Lewis got back, Buxton and Correa went on the concussion list and what have you. But overall, those 3 guys look to be healthy and playing in the lineup again. And if they can do that for an extended period of time, it'll be really fun to watch.
Such a good point. So glad you brought that up. Just for reference, and to your point, right? Echo your thoughts. I know. Yep. Correa had the concussion. Buxton on and off. Royce Lewis to start the year. Didn't miss the first 6 weeks or so. What's the kind of reference point for last year? How many games did those 3 guys play together last year that we kind of have a small sample to go off of?
I want to say it's something incredibly small. I want to say it was like, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but something like 20 or something like that. Just an incredibly small number when you look at Correa missing the second half of the season and Royce missing time at the beginning of the season. So there's really only like a 2-month window where all 3 of those guys would have been healthy at the exact same time. And Buxton had some issue. I mean, just overall, it was just those 3 guys have been chronically injured over the last few years. And of course, that means that they're all picking different times to do it. They're all 3 individual great players, but those are the 3 core players that the Twins are really counting on to kind of leap that lineup forward. And when they're all together in the lineup at the same time, things are going really well. When they're not, and things go wrong, the fan base wishes all 3 of them were in the lineup.
Yeah, no doubt. Ironically enough, too, during that 13-game win streak, how many games of those 13 wins did all 3 of those guys actually suit up together? I don't think that was a lot.
I don't think it was very much. I think Lewis kind of joined midway through, if I remember.
Maybe a couple. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Good stuff per usual. Twins avoid the sweep. They take game 3 today, 6-3. That's your final. Joe Ryan, another solid outing. He gets the dub. 35-30 now on the year, 5 games above 500. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all CJ's work on X at BombCJ30, plus all the work he's always putting up over at Zone Coverage, MN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. We got the Rangers Tuesday night after a day off, 6:40 first pitch. We'll catch you right here, same time, same place. Until then, signing out.